Let's go.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. I hope everyone's enjoying their evening. Just want to come up a little bit and talk about the not all that dressed up, well-dressed lie. Peace to my brother, DJ Oldhead Cuddy, and Sophia Yatu's World. Thanks for tapping in. Now, I watched a forum with Myron Gaines recently, who loves to undermine us, our efforts, and what we're trying to do as a people. These foreigners love coming to the United States and trying to tell us how to behave in our country while they fled theirs. I forgot where Myron Gaines is from. He's from somewhere over there in Africa, one of those African countries. But they love coming here and pointing the finger at us, telling us how we should behave. And I believe Myron Gaines was once a federal agent also. But he had a forum, and he loved pandering to suspected white supremacists. And he shared their sentiments. He shared their sentiments wholeheartedly. And for some reason, for some frozen of a reason, people that come here and they'll engage in our culture and they'll try to tell us what we should be doing and sort of wagging their fingers in our face with chastisement if we don't behave a certain way. And the suspected white supremacists, they love to project their behavior on us. And if we call them out on their racism, they'll call us racist for doing it. Now, some of us live by them. Some of us had the desire to not live among our own people and live around people who are not very welcoming to them. And sometimes it's a bad thing, sometimes it's a terrible thing to live around other than your people. Like the airman that lived around those people, and they felt compelled to call the police to his house, and his first encounter with the police, his life was taken because he answered the door in an open carry state. Not only that, he's an officer also, but he's a officer that's higher than any police officer can imagine when it comes to rank and file. He was a airman, a senior airman at that. Yet, no matter what our accomplishments are, that's not enough for the wicked. But this young student, that this young white student that Myron Gaines, I believe he's from Somalia. Not, is it Somalia? I think he's from Somalia, Myron Gaines. He put the mic in this young white student's hand, and he felt compelled, as if we desire to live around them. And then he had the nerve to say that white immigrants built the United States. White immigrants didn't even do the farmland, the architecture. They did none of that. As a matter of fact, one of us designed Washington, D.C., one of us. And we founded more cities in the United States than anyone, our people. But he said that we need to check out the Naturalization Act of 1790. It was first a federal law in the United States to establish the uniform rule for naturalization, which is the process by which foreign citizens become citizens of a new country. This act, signed into law by President George Washington, limited naturalization to free white persons who had resided in the U.S. for at least 2 years and demonstrated good moral character. As if that's possible. As if that's possible to demonstrate good moral character. I'm not saying that there's a minority that does, but for the most part, we're looking at a wickedly entitled, wickedly wise person when we look in the face, I'm going to say it, of white people. That's just how I feel about it. I've been here almost 60 years, and that's what I see when I encounter them. They think their whiteness make them smarter, not being educated, not going to school and acquiring knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Just their whiteness is what make them better and what's make them smarter. Now, again, George Washington signed it into law. And then they said it also extended citizenship to children of naturalized citizens who were under the age of 21. And then it had racial restrictions. The act explicitly limited naturalization to free white people, excluding Native Americans, enslaved people, free black people, and later Asians. But I'm going to say it like this. White people are the most lazy people I've ever encountered. Lazy as hell. Lazy in their thinking and lazy in their physical work. Lazy. But he want us to, this guy I'm gonna show, this young man that I'm gonna show the video, want us to believe. That's the thing when you're taught lies all your life. When you're taught lies all your life, you start to believe those lies. And it's not even that well dressed. It's not even a well dressed lie. It's an outright lie, a lie you can detect and debunk easily because you can look at them today and tell that they didn't build a damn thing. Wherever they went and they stole it. And that's one thing they're good at. Theft. They're good at destruction. They're good at murder. They're good at taking people without their permission, in particular a woman. They're good at that. They're good at taking off children. They're good at that. Very good at that. Now, the residency requirement, a 2-year residency in the United States and 1 year in the state of application were required. It said good character. Applicants had to demonstrate good moral character. Good moral character among who and yet in comparison to who? What do they consider good moral character? And then it says oath of allegiance. Applicants had to swear an oath of allegiance to the United States Constitution. Emphasis on the con. The Constitution is a con because nobody respects it. Those who put their hand on the Bible and swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States infringe on the United States more than anybody, from the highest office in the land to the cop that was hired today. They infringe on the Constitution. They care nothing about the Constitution. They care nothing about the law. It's all about compliance. It's all about tyranny, acquiescence, and capitulation to those who they say they swore to protect. Now then it says citizens for children. Children, naturalized children, children of naturalized children under the age of 21 were also granted citizenship. They excluded other people after stealing. But this young man I'm about to show want us to believe that they built the United States. Yeah. That was never my desire. I could care less. I don't know why he's standing up here looking like Daniel Penny, looking like a potential school shooter, acting like it's a privilege to live around them. I could care less whether I live around them or even if I encounter one of them. I could care less.
This is our country that we built. Yeah, white immigrants built this country. Thank you.
And listen to this Johnny Come Lately, Myron Gaines, agree with this fool. White people don't even have the physical makeup to build nothing. Besides they build up their lives and they build up their confidence for no reason at all. If you look at the inventions, even the inventions, what he's wearing on his eyes were invented by us, one of us. But he's saying as if there is great people that display absolutely no greatness.
Read the Naturalization Act of 1790.
No, it's the truth. This country was founded by white Protestant
And yes,
men.
I understand that black people have been a part of this country since the beginning because of slavery. And
That's not true. That's not true. It said freed or free whites. That means there's some peasants among the whites. If you can say free whites, that means there were whites that were slaves. Free whites.
I'm not.
I think the
endorsing
girls over
slavery.
there don't like what you're saying.
And I know that. Yeah.
And he's saying that he's around what they would call friendlies, like a Myron Gaines. Myron Gaines has a lot of disdain for Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. He has a lot of disdain for us, a lot of hate for us over here. You know, with all the deporting that's going on, I would hope that ICE will snatch him up and send his ass back to Somalia or somewhere. That's one person I wish would get deported, Myron Gaines.
Yeah. And the logical consequence of slavery is that, you know, you have these people displaced in this country. And, you know, at the time, you know, maybe the better choice should have been to just send them back to Africa. Because clearly.
First, that's indoctrination. That's disinformation, because most of us did not come from Africa. Most of us was right here in America at its inception. See, white people go around and they discover things as if it was covered. It was never covered, so how can you discover it? You can't discover something with a whole bunch of a nation of people already living here. That's not discovery. That's theft, attempted theft. That's what that is. So for him to say that white people built the United States and we were slaves, that's the reason why we were here from the beginning, because we were slaves. That's cap.
Clearly, they can't integrate in a proper society and live with us.
The reason why we can't integrate in properly in a society, because white people are absolutely disagreeable to live with in peace. They're not peaceful people. If we move next door to them, minding our business as a family, it's not that we wish them to welcome us. They hinder us. We don't care about you welcoming us and being our friends. We care about when you hinder us and get in our way and try to hinder our progress. That's what we care about. But far as like living left or right of you, most of us don't give a damn. Maybe Myron Gaines do.
Without just murdering each other in the streets. So
murdering each other in the streets. I'm going to show you murdering each other in the streets. See, when I went to school, from pre-K all the way through high school, we may have had a fist fight. We had fist fights. People got jumped, stuff like that. But if you look at most of the school shootings, their children are not even safe in their schools because of unhinged young men like this. He'll walk up in a school and kill people that haven't done anything to him, and kill teachers that's trying to educate other children. One of them will walk up in a school and shoot the school up, or they'll walk into a church and shoot the church up. Recently, a church was shot up. You know how many church shootings were done this year by white men? Look it up. Not just the ones that we see on TV, on the news. And he talks about what we do to each other as if they don't harm and kill each other.
It really kind of makes you think, well, now, it's baked in now. What can we do about it? And, some people like, I watch Nick, like Jason Whitlock, he had that thing with Jason Whitlock where Jason Whitlock says, oh, well, if they're just Christian, man, then,
One thing about white people, they love those who hate themselves. They love the self-hating Negro. They love that man. Jason Whitlock, Charles Barkley, Jesse Lee Peterson. They love people like that. They love them.
things would be different. But then you look at countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo. That country's 95% Catholic.
The Democratic country of Congo has nothing to do with us. That's not us. That's Myron Gaines' people. That's his people. Where he fled from, that's his people. Myron Gaines is from over there where those people are killing each other.
Catholic, roughly. And they have one of the highest murder rates in the world. And, you know, their country's just, it's a failed state. And it just really makes you think, is like, it's not a culture.
But that one of the most highest murder rate in the world. But if you look at the statistics, the United States is included in those statistics also. So if you say if you're not saying it's it has that means somebody is higher and lower. When you use the definite article, that means nobody's higher. When you say one of, who's number one? It goes back to what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said. If you say menace to society and you use the Roman numeral 2, that means menace to society. There must be a menace 1. And menace 1 all over this world, is white people.
Culture at you, it's not socioeconomic, it's not religion, then, you know, what is it?
Yeah, no, I mean, IQ does play a huge role in it. And that's the thing that people don't like to discuss. But yeah, no, that's true, man. The truth hurts sometimes for people. But yeah, they've done meta-analysis on this with IQ and race. And
now, ones who doing the analysis, who are they? They're culturally biased, and they're biased altogether. And they love classifying people, you know, with their mental illnesses and their evil behavior, their evil nature, their inherited wickedness and racism, which is not a mental illness, it's just their nature. They were made like that. They were made wicked from birth because they came out. Because if good is not in you, it's not going to come out of you, whether it's a child or behavior. So good are not in the people, so nothing good going to come out them.
the data doesn't lie, you know. In general, black people tend to have lower IQs, so it is what it is.
Where you're from, they have lower IQs. Where you're from. But they want us to believe that.
The shooter is in your room and they call out, is anybody in there? What do?
I say, I'm here.
Absolutely not. You don't stay away.
This is what a mother has to do. Not in our communities. In white communities. A mom has to prep her 5-year-old son with a makeshift active shooter drill. We have to teach our sons how to behave when they encounter someone who are supposed to be serving and protecting the police. We got to tell our sons, keep your hand on the steering wheel, look straight ahead, and just and don't answer no questions. We have to teach our sons that and our daughters that. But a 5-year-old white boy or white child in general, mom has to prep him with a makeshift active shooter drill, telling him what to do in the event that somebody running through the damn school with a gun.
The shooter is in your room and they call out, is anybody in there? What do?
I say, I'm here.
Absolutely not. You don't say a word.
Okay.
If the shooter is in there, you do not say a word. You stay absolutely silent. Okay, you get out of the building. Where do you go? Where do you run?
Outside.
Where outside?
Home.
You run as far away from the school as you can go.
Okay.
Mom will find you.
Now, I'm going to show examples of their killing each other. Since you say we kill each other, I'm just going to show examples of what they do. Neighbors killing each other. They're running up in schools, shooting. Children running up in school, just shooting each other, shooting children, shooting teachers.
That's why I told you not to open the goddamn door.
Well, if it was a shooter, I
In case you're wondering, it's not a truck. You're fine. You're fine. They're not here.
Trench coat mafia didn't happen in the hood. It happened in Columbine. Okay, it didn't happen in the hood. It didn't happen where so-called black people live at. It happened in Columbine, trench coat mafia.
Left my daughter at that school, and that decision will haunt me.
Now, Uvalde was a travesty. It was a tragedy. 19 students, 2 teachers, lives were taken by a school shooter. Didn't happen where black people live at. Did not happen where we live at. Not saying that it don't happen, but for the most part, we have our problems. I'm not going to say that we don't display self-destructive behavior. We do. But for somebody to come up and try to point out what we do as if it don't happen in their community, I'm not saying it don't happen in our community. We have a lot we got to fix. We got a whole lot we have to fix. But for some, I'm not going to say he's unaware. I'm going to say he's just a jackass to just stand up there and say that we are disagreeable to live with in peace. When if you look all over the world, who's causing the wars? Or who's causing who's breaking the peace? Who's making the war? Who destroys people's lives? It's not us. Not the black man and woman in America. No, it's not us. We do more harm to ourselves than we do to any other people. But everybody attacks us. The whole entire world attack us because we are the culture. We're the culture.
For the rest of my life.
An 18-year-old male who resided in Uvalde. He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly, 14 students and killed a teacher.
Everybody was scared. We were all panicking because we didn't know what was really happening.
Do you feel safe at school? Why not?
These babies are not even safe in school. They can't even go to school and learn without Someone unhinged, more than likely learned behavior, walking up in the school. And not only that, having access to a firearm altogether. That's wrong altogether, having access to a firearm. Mothers buying their sons guns for their 13th or 14th birthday. They get a gun. Don't even have the mental capacity to deal with that, but they have a gun that makes them think they're invincible, and they'll go up in the school and not caring about human life and just pull a bullet in somebody like they're nothing.
Is that only to happen again?
Do you think it's going to happen again?
Her last photo ever was taken at approximately 10:54 a.m. I can still see her walking with us toward the exit. In the reel that keeps scrolling across my memories, she turns her head and smiles back at us to acknowledge my promise. And then we left.
That's what they want us to believe, that we're the violent ones. After so much violence is
In
committed
today's
on
video,
us.
we will be exploring the 15 worst school shootings in American history. From Sandy Hook to Virginia Tech, we discuss how these
I mean, it's from this age. These are babies, 5 or 6 years old, to Virginia Tech, which is on a college level. So it doesn't matter. And they even walk in churches and do it to people.
tragic events unfolded. 1. Virginia Tech, April 16, 2007, 32 victims. The deadliest school shooting in U.S. history took place on the campus of
32 victims. 32. And I believe the shooter was Asian. It was an Asian who did it.
Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, commonly known as Virginia Tech, in Blacksburg. At the time of the shooting, the 32 shooting victims made it the deadliest shooting incident in the U.S., though that grisly title would later be overtaken by the shootings at Pulse nightclub in 2016 and later the shooting at a country music festival in Las Vegas in 2017. The shooting took place almost exactly 8 years after the Columbine shooting, when a 23-year-old student opened fire at 2 locations on campus, first in a dorm room and then in an academic building across campus. In total, he killed 32 victims and injured 23 others before turning the gun off himself. 2. Sandy Hook Elementary School, December 14, 2012. 26 victims. Perhaps the most famous of them all, another young man devastated.
But we're killing each other, though. Our people are killing each other. Not saying that we don't, but you cannot point out what we do and not point the finger at your own people. Your people start off young. Not saying ours don't. Again, we got a lot we have to fix. But don't say we are disagreeable to live with in peace.
Dated a community when, 5 years later, after first killing his mother, he drove to a nearby elementary school and opened fire, killing 20 children and 6 school administrators.
Do you know how evil you have to be to kill your mother? You have to be evil as hell to kill your mother. You got to be evil to do any type of harm to your mother. You have to be one evil person. Evil.
Administrators before killing himself. The shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in the sleepy town of Newtown, Connecticut, prompted a national outpouring of grief. Emotions ran high when then-President Barack Obama made a statement about the shooting, pausing at one point to wipe away a tear. The majority of those who died today were children, beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old, he said in the White House briefing room. They had their entire lives ahead of them, birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own. Among the fallen were also teachers, men and women who devoted their lives to helping our children fulfill their dreams. So our hearts are broken today. The outrage over the shooting led to a push for federal changes to gun laws. but the bill did not pass. Instead, in the years since the Sandy Hook shooting, a number of states have changed.
And what's crazy about that, they target us for what their own people do. And they target men and women with cameras, trying to be sure that our rights are not violated, our rights are respected. Men and women with cell phone cameras and cameras, GoPros and everything, they're targeting them, and they're using the excuse that, you know, terrorism with today's society and the environment, they use the same template BS statement when somebody's pointing the camera at them, making sure they're not violating somebody's rights.
Change their local laws. 3. Marjorie Stoneman, Douglas High School, February 14, 2018, 17 victims. While the response of thoughts and prayers offered after mass shootings was once again decried by many as inadequate, the reaction after the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School differed from others.
From the Parkland
Almost
massacre,
immediately after the shooting, the teens who survived stepped into action,
19-year-old Nicholas
launching what would be a
Cruz, seen
national
here
push
loading
for
an
gun control,
AR-15 in the
culminating
hallway
in the
of
March
Stoneman
for Our
Douglas.
Why do young people have access to these weapons? Why? I guarantee that young man that spoke on the first video have this same type of weapon.
High School as a
New gun
frightened
laws were
freshman
passed in
walks
Florida a
past.
little over 3 weeks after the shooting, when 14 high school students and 3 school administrators were killed. 4. Santa Fe High School, May 18, 2018 to 10 victims. Just 3 months after the Parkland shooting, another high school was the scene of a mass shooting, this time in Texas. In total, 8 students and 2 teachers were killed.
Months apart, not years. Even though years apart would be too much, that's still too much. If it's 10 years apart, 20 years apart, there's still too much of children and teachers and people getting their lives taken from them. But this right here is months apart. Young people walking into schools, opening fire.
Killed by a 17-year-old gunman. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said that the shooter allegedly wrote in journals that he wanted to carry out the shooting and then commit suicide, but on the day of the shooting, he gave himself up to authorities. 5. Umpqua Community College, October 1st, 2015, 9 victims. A student in one of the writing classes offered at the Roseburg, Oregon, school started shooting victims, reportedly one by one. The 26-year-old shooter fatally shot himself at the scene. Our thoughts and prayers are not enough, then President Obama said on the day of the shooting. It's not enough. It does not capture the heartache and grief and anger that we should feel, and it does nothing to prevent this carnage from being inflicted in someplace else in America. 6. Red Lake Senior High School, March 21st, 2005. 7 victims at the school. Robert Cook from the Red Lake Indian Reservation performs a traditional ceremony at St. Philip Church during a memorial service to mourn the victims killed at Red Lake High School, March.
What's crazy about that is we see the police, we see politicians stand up on a podium. They say how terrible this is. But look at the violent nature they have. They resort to violence the first time somebody don't comply with them. They resort to violence. And the ones who, I think it's cliche, who raise their hand, put their hand on the Bible and swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and protect the people. They put serve and protect on the police cruisers, on the patrol cars, but little of them. It's a very small, minute, microscopic percentage of them that actually serve and protect.
March 23rd. The deadly shooting spree on Red Lake Indian Reservation in Minnesota started before it unfolded at the local high school. First, the 16-year-old shooter killed his grandfather and the grandfather's girlfriend before driving to Red Lake Senior High School, which he used to attend, and opening fire. The shooter killed 7 people at the school, including
Walaikum salam. Safayagatu as well. Wa alaikum salam.
Students, a teacher, and a security guard, and injured 5 others. The shooter was injured by responding officers, but then reportedly retreated and fatally shot himself. 7. Oikos University, April 2nd, 2012. 7 victims. A Korean Christian college was the site of a deadly shooting in 2013 when a 43-year-old former student returned to the campus of Oikos University and opened fire. There were 7 victims.
All ages. Now, this is a grown adult going to a college campus, opening fire on some students and faculty, staff. All ages.
Killed and 3 others injured before the shooter was taken into custody. The suspect reportedly went looking for a female administrator that he was angry with, but when he realized she wasn't there, he asked students to line up. When they didn't comply, he started shooting.
Now, when you have a cop that shoot a judge in the chambers, this happened this year, a cop actually shot a judge. Open fire, pump bullets into a judge.
At the time of this shooting, which happened in Oakland, California, it was the 4th deadliest shooting on an American college campus. 8. West Nickel Mines School, October 2nd, 2006. 5 victims. A 32-year-old local milk delivery man drove a pickup truck to an Amish schoolhouse after dropping off his own children on their school bus. The shooter, who was not Amish, had a handgun in his hand when he entered the school. A police officer later said that it appears that the suspect went to the school with the intention of killing young girls after he purposefully let the young boys and adults out of the schoolhouse. A police official said that the girls were lined up against the chalkboard and he had taken wire and bound their legs together. The suspect's wife found notes that the suspect had left for their children, and thinking that something was wrong, she called his cell phone. He made some statement about revenge for something in his life 20 years ago, the police official said. The shooter called 911 and gave a warning before he started shooting, eventually killing 5 girls and injuring 3 others. The suspect also fatally shot himself. 9. Northern Illinois University, February 14th, 2008. 5 victims. A former graduate student who opened fire after walking into an...
These are learning institutions where all of this happened at. Learning institutions. Male and female. Not just males and not just children. Grown adults.
To an auditorium during an oceanography class, reportedly left a Valentine's Day note for his girlfriend before leaving for the shooting. The shooting at Northern Illinois University, where 5 people were killed and at least 16 others were injured, was reportedly influenced by Columbine, as the 27-year-old suspect examined the methods of the Colorado shooting and was fascinated by Columbine, according to a police report on the case. The shooting took place a decade to the day before the deadly shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. 10. Santa Monica College, June 7, 2013. 5 victims. While the shooting at Santa Monica College would not be considered a mass deadly shooting itself, since there were 3 people killed there and not 4, there were 2 others that the shooter at the school killed before arriving on the scene. The suspect reportedly fatally shot his father and brother, set their house on fire, and then made his way towards the college campus. Police said the suspect was wearing a protective vest and
shoot your father and your brother and then carry out a school shooting, killing 4 victims in the school. That's evil.
Carrying so much weaponry he was, in the words of one official, ready for battle. 11. Marysville Pilchuck High School, October 24, 2014. 4 victims. The 15-year-old shooter who fatally shot 4 students before killing himself reportedly lured his victims to his lunch table via text before the shooting. The only pre-planning of the event that detectives are able to confirm is that the shooter...
What's crazy about that, cops be scared to death. They be scared to death, but they are so tough when they're unarmed. They're so tough when a person don't have a way to even, challenge them. But with someone who's committing a horrific crime, like a school shooting or any type of shooting in a facility, whether it's on a job shooting or a school shooting, They're hiding somewhere, reluctant, afraid to even approach the person. And they're the trained person. They're the one who went through the academy. Some of them come home from the military and they join the police department. That's why most of them had an us against them mentality. They see, the citizens, the civilians as their enemy. But when it comes to somebody who's actually committing a horrific crime like a school shooting or a occupational shooting, they hide somewhere.
Had arranged for a meeting of friends during lunch in the cafeteria. A witness confirms that the 5 victims were seated at the table when the shooter opened fire, striking the victims before turning the gun on himself, police said in a statement after the Marysville-Pilchuck High School shooting. Not all of the victims died on the scene, but some died later in the hospital, changing the death counts in the immediate aftermath. 12. Columbine High School, April 20th, 1999 to 15 victims. On this fateful day, the nation stood in disbelief as the events unfolded at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado. The Columbine High School massacre remains one of...
I don't see how people didn't believe this, because as horrific as this is, things that have been done to us are far more horrific. You look at the massacres in OC, Florida, in Wilmington, Delaware, Tulsa, Oklahoma. This don't scratch the surface of what they've done to us in comparison to what they do to themselves.
Is one of the most devastating and influential school shootings in American history. Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, 2 students at Columbine High School, embarked on a meticulously planned attack that would forever change the lives of students, families, and communities. Armed with firearms, explosives, and a deeply disturbed mindset, they unleashed a reign of terror within the school's halls. The horrifying scenes that unfolded that day were marked by chaos, fear, and unimaginable acts of violence. Students and teachers became targets of the shooter's rage, resulting in the loss of 15 innocent lives, including their own. Dozens more were injured. In the aftermath of the Columbine High School shooting, a wave of shock and grief washed over the nation. It sparked soul-searching conversations about bullying, mental health, and the role of firearms in society. The event also prompted significant changes in school security protocols and law enforcement responses to such incidents. 13. Marjorie Stoneman, Douglas High School, February 14th, 2018
Filling
to
images
17
and
victims.
911 calls
Marjorie
from the
Stoneman
Parkland
Douglas High
massacre,
School,
painting
a place of
timeline
learning and
of
promise,
terror.
became the site of one of the
19-year-old Nicholas
deadliest
Cruz
school
seen
shootings
here
in
loading
American
an
history.
AR-15 in the
The
hallway
Parkland
of
shooting
Stoneman
stands as
Douglas
a
High
stark
School
reminder
as a
of the
frightened
urgent
freshman
need for
walks
action to
past.
prevent such senseless acts of violence. On that tragic day, a former student, armed with a weapon of destruction, unleashed unimaginable horror upon the halls of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
That weapon was probably that child's birthday gift or Christmas gift. That's what these crazy ass parents give their children without any type of training, knowing that their child is unhinged because they're unhinged. Because if you look at how they're trying to criminalize Carmelo Anthony, his family is the family that's together. Both parents living in the house, raising their children, work every day. Mother's a stay-home mom while the dad take care, working and handling things. But the Metcalf family is not even together. Father was beating on the mom. She left him. Son beat the dad up before, and they teach their children to be what resulted in one of their lives being taken. They taught their children that. There was learned behavior, taught behavior by the parents. They're not even together. They have a family that's dysfunctional. Their family's totally dysfunctional, but they're trying their best to make the Anthony family look like that, when it's the Metcalf family that's the one that's dysfunctional.
In a matter of moments, lives were forever shattered, and the nation was left reeling in grief and disbelief. The stories of heroism and survival emerged from the chaos, Students and faculty members displayed unimaginable courage, protecting one another and seeking refuge as bullets rained down upon them. Tragically, 17 lives were lost, leaving behind devastated families and a community forever scarred. The Parkland community rallied together, united by resilience and a shared determination to prevent future tragedies. Memorials were held, commemorating the lives lost, while survivors and their allies organized events like the March for Our Lives, amplifying their calls for comprehensive gun reform. 14. Westside Middle School, Alaska, March 24, 1998. 5 victims.
All the way up there in cold-ass Alaska. Cold-hearted murderers in cold-ass Alaska.
On this tragic day, Westside Middle School became the site of a devastating school shooting that shattered the innocence of a tight-knit town. The Jonesboro shooting stands as a somber reminder of the profound impact of such acts of violence on individuals, families, and communities. In a shocking turn of events, 2 young students orchestrated a planned attack on their fellow classmates and teachers at Westside Middle School. Armed with firearms, their actions unleashed a wave of terror and left lives forever altered. Amidst the chaos and confusion, acts of bravery and selflessness emerged. Students and educators found themselves thrust into a situation that no one should ever experience. Tragically, 5 lives were lost that day, leaving behind grieving families and a community grappling with incomprehensible loss. Today, we remember the lives tragically taken away too soon. They were vibrant young souls, each with dreams and aspirations that will forever remain unrealized. Their absence is a constant reminder of the pain and grief inflicted by acts of violence within our schools. In the aftermath of the Jonesboro shooting, the Jonesboro community rallied together, drawing strength from one another. Support poured in from near and far as the healing process began. Families leaned on one another, finding solace in shared experiences and the unwavering support of their community. Throughout the years, the Jonesboro community has demonstrated incredible resilience. Memorials and remembrance events have been held to honor the lives lost, while survivors and their families have come together to advocate for change and foster a sense of unity. 15. Cleveland Elementary School, January 29, 1979. 6 victims. The Cleveland Elementary School shooting serves as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of gun violence on innocent lives. In a shocking turn of events, a troubled individual armed with a firearm arrived at Cleveland Elementary School. In a matter of minutes, the school grounds were turned into a scene of unimaginable horror. Lives were forever changed, leaving families, friends, and an entire community grappling with profound grief and loss. Amidst the chaos and fear, acts of heroism and selflessness emerged. Teachers and staff members worked tirelessly to protect their students, risking their own lives to ensure their safety. Despite their valiant efforts, 6 innocent lives were tragically lost, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of those who knew and loved them. Today, we remember the lives abruptly taken away on that fateful day. They were young souls with bright futures, full of dreams and potential. Their absence is a painful reminder of the devastating consequences of violence within our schools. In the aftermath of the Cleveland Elementary School shooting, the community of San Diego rallied together to support the grieving families and heal the wounds inflicted by this senseless act of violence.
Now, I'm going to go to the last video of the evening. I have plenty of videos, but I want to go to the last one this evening, which was crazy. I covered this story when it happened. Yet, I'm going to do a disclaimer. This video is very violent and graphic. So I'm offering a disclaimer, fair use. This is merely for scholarship, fair use, for criticism, for educational purposes, fair use, and the video is violent. This video was crazy. Now, this is the prime example of bullying going bad. It's not something I condone, because my sentiment is I don't give a damn about living next to white people. But if I live next to white people, I wouldn't want no problems. But if they gave me a problem, it'd be one. But I wouldn't give them one. All I can say is I won't start it. I won't be the aggressor. But I damn sure will fight with those who fight against me. With all I have. With all the strength I have. But this right here was wrong. And this is the result of someone, a man and woman bullying their neighbor.
Today we'll be discussing the violent case of 50-year-old James and 48-year-old Lisa Goy, a married couple from Plains Township, Pennsylvania. On the 1st of February 2021 at around 9:30 a.m., the Goys were shoveling snow outside of their house and appeared to be placing the snow on the driveway of their neighbor, 47-year-old Jeffrey Spade. Spade was a
Mind you, they already had history. They have been bothering this man for the duration of his stay there. And you're going to hear James McGoy threatening to knock the man out, saying that he's going to make his life a living hell while he lived there. And that's not something that you say to your neighbor. Not something you say to your neighbor.
decorated war veteran, working as an engineer for 20 years after serving the US Navy in the 90s. All in all, Spade apparently had an ordinary life. No criminal records or notable offenses until this fateful encounter with his neighbors that cold February morning. According to NBC News, the Goys were dumping the snow they shoveled on Spade's property. Shortly after, Spade walked up to the couple to ask them to stop, which they did not. This led to a heated altercation, including threats and obscenities.
You go fuck yourself, you fucking queer. Come in, scummy motherfucker. Step out here, I'll knock your ass out.
I'm going to say this. No matter how stupid it is, you don't know the mental capacity of everybody you encounter. And some people, no matter how stupid it is, will stand on their stupidity and what they say they're going to do, no matter how stupid it is. So the best thing for you to do is to leave people alone. Because me, I'm not traveling hundreds of miles to go see nobody to do nothing to them. I'm not doing that. But you got somebody who will do it. That'll come see you. No matter how stupid that is, they'll do it.
Eventually, Spade can be seen walking back to his house before coming back to the scene with a handgun.
And they stood right there, and both of them were armed themselves. Both of them was armed themselves. What's crazy about Pennsylvania is an open carry state. All except Philly. You can't open carry in Philly, but the rest of the state you can, because our people are predominantly in Philly. You can carry everywhere else in Pennsylvania, but you can't carry in Philly. Tell me that's not weird.
James warned Spade to put the gun down, while Lisa Goy provoked Spade, telling him to, quote-unquote, go ahead.
Now that's stupidity. They stood right there. The man's walking up to him with a handgun, and she's saying, go ahead. She's speaking louder than the man that's in front of her. She's saying, go ahead. Like the man went inside of his house and grabbed their handgun to come outside and do nothing. That was stupid. But this is their behavior. The young man on the first video said that all we do is kill each other. I beg to differ.
Jeffrey Spades then shot multiple times before hitting James first and then moving on to Lisa. James is seen fleeing towards his home, shouting for his neighbors to call the cops. Spade then
When they seen that, when that man said he'll be back and that man came outside, I don't understand why they stood there as if that man went inside his house and came out to do nothing. That was stupid.
proceeds to shoot at the couple multiple times, switching weapons during the process. The second time, Spade returns with an assault rifle to attack the couple once more. He then leaves the scene and shoots himself in his home shortly after with a third gun. Both parties involved had family and friends who wished it had ended differently. Lisa and James Goy had a 15-year-old autistic son who had moved under custody of his grandmother. Whilst many people explained that the shooting of the Goys was inhumane and completely unnecessary.
Again, no matter how stupid it is, some people stand on what they say that they're going to do. And that must be considered.
Others defended Spades as the couple had supposedly been bullying him on occasions prior to this one. This case is extremely violent and quickly fell out of control. I personally think Spades should have been arrested and that suicide prevented his deserved consequence. What do you think of this case? I read all the comments and love hearing what you guys have to say, whether it's love, hate, or any kind of statement at all. Thank you so much for watching.
This concludes the stream. I hope it was pertinent information. I just wanted to show the hypocrisy of some people so quick to point out what we do as if they care. The crazy thing about that is when white people talk about how we kill each other, it's only to justify their treatment of us and to discredit us. They say that as if they give a damn about us dying. They don't, and they damn sure don't care about us killing each other. They don't care about neither one. But that's always the argument that they use, that we're killing each other. They don't care about that. It's just they're trying to win an argument and trying to justify their behavior. This is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Until next time, peace.
Enemy Public, I saw your thing on